Great. Thank you so much to Martech for giving me this opportunity to present our session today, how to bring your ABM strategy to the TV screen. My name is Ali Haeri. I'm Vice President of Marketing at MNTN. I think the most relevant aspect of my background to everybody who's tuning in today is the fact that I am your peer. I am a marketer and not just a solution provider, but I am a marketer who has the same challenges as you all, whether it's a work-related challenge of, driving campaigns that drive revenue for the business, generating demand for the business, generating brand awareness, or if it's just a real life challenge of working from home and presenting from home with a kid and a wife and life happening all around. So just like you all, I have all the same challenges, and so I wanted to approach this presentation today again as your peer, not as a solution provider. And so what we're going to talk about today is incredibly practical to the lives of all digital marketers who are tuning in today. Now, what we'll get to today is we'll talk about the current state of ABM, why, in our opinion, it's broken. Then we'll talk about how connected TV can be utilized in an ABM strategy. We'll talk about that at length. We'll even look at a case study of how we use connected TV as part of our ABM strategy. Then, just being really kind of practical, we'll talk about the tools and technology you'll need to kind of emulate our own success, and some actionable insights. So really, we want this presentation to be providing utility for everybody who's tuning in. And so we're going to make sure that everything that you see here is just going to be useful. Now, just a bit of a level set on ABM. 70% of marketers say they use ABM, and there's a 15% year-over-year increase in the usage of ABM. But the problem with ABM is that everybody's using the same playbook. There's a greatest hits of ABM tactics, and we're talking about email marketing, targeted ads. Depending on which ad platform you're using, you're likely targeting an email or phone number list with some sort of advertising, and personalized landing pages. There's a lot of great tools out there that create personalized landing pages. The problem is that when all marketers are doing the same thing and working out of the same playbook, it's really hard to differentiate yourself. It's really hard to stand out. And when we're considering our end user, it's really hard to kind of penetrate that or cut through the noise, I should say, when everybody else is kind of using the same channels to communicate to the same audience. And to this whole point of everybody kind of working out of the same ABM playbook, they're also using all of those channels in a very similar way too. And so this goes back to that concept of just the noise out there in the market. When it comes to email, the email experience isn't very differentiated. And so, the end user is left with a crowded inbox with a lot of, somewhat personalized emails, but they're all personalized in the same sort of way. Same with targeted ads. Everybody is getting inundated with ads on social platforms. And a lot of these ads look indistinguishable from one another. I work in the B2B marketing space, and one thing that I notice when I browse my LinkedIn feed is that everybody's working out of the same content marketing playbook for B2B. Everybody's promoting some sort of guide of some sort, and the call to action is always the same. And these ads across competitors actually look indistinguishable from one another to me as the end prospect. And then finally, landing pages often go unseen. You may put a lot of effort into creating a really personalized landing page experience for your ABM prospect, but do they even get to the landing page? Are the other touch points even working well enough to get a prospect to the landing page? And so, with all of this being true, the key consideration here is that there's too much at stake to not nail your ABM strategy. So just looking at some really important stats, 91% of marketers attribute larger deal sizes to their ABM program. 95% of buyers choose a solution provider that provides a lot of good content relevant to them during the sales cycle. And 200% more revenue generated by marketers who have an ABM program installed versus those that don't. And so having an effective implementation of an ABM strategy can do wonders for your business. And so that kind of sets the stage for us. ABM is clearly important, and it can clearly have a really positive impact on your business. But on the flip side of it, everybody's doing it the same way. So what could you possibly do to try to differentiate yourselves? And so this is where we want to start talking about connected television as a solution for your ABM strategy. And so what we're talking about here is using the biggest screen in the household, the television, as the channel to use in order to get your ABM targeted message out to your prospects. And really, the great thing about using television, if it hasn't been obvious already, considering everything that we just talked about, is that this is a mechanism where you can really create distance from your competitors. Utilizing connected TV as a channel, it's just such a highly differentiated method of getting your message out to your prospects. And so, what are some reasons why TV specifically can work for an ABM strategy? Well, first, it's not linear broadcast TV. So, some of you may be thinking, I've done TV advertising before, or maybe you haven't, and your perception of TV is just that it's unattainable, it's really expensive. Um, but this is not broadcast TV. This is connected television. It's programmatic. And the great thing about that is it has all of the reach, precision, measurability of any of your other sort of tried and true digital marketing channels. So think of it as having the impact and prestige of TV advertising, but all of the control and measurability of programmatic digital advertising. That's what we're talking about here. In fact, it really wouldn't work at all for an ABM strategy if you didn't have that ability to target as you do on the other digital channels that you use most commonly. Next, it's considering the ad experience, which is very important. Because with an ABM, just fundamentally doing ABM, you want a captive audience and you specifically know who that target audience is. With the case of connected television, the ad unit is really conducive to that because we're serving unskippable high impact ads. And you're getting your prospect when they're sitting on their couch and they're streaming television that they like. And so that's an inherently captivating experience compared to advertising, say, on social, where the user experience is such that they could just scroll past the advertising, or on a desktop computer where they could just open up another tab as the ads are running. This is a lot more of an inherently engaging environment for advertising. And finally, this is a channel that's effective for demand generation. You'll certainly get noticed by your high value prospects, as we'll talk about in just a moment. This measurability that you have here is going to be crucial in terms of understanding the impact and effectiveness of your ABM strategy. Now, we're speaking from experience. We're not just some platform provider that really thinks that you should use us for ABM. We've done this ourselves. And we actually conducted a really interesting test. And so you may or may not know that our Chief Creative Officer is, of course, Ryan Reynolds, very famous actor, and someone who's actually made a tremendous name for himself in the advertising space, really decorated career in the advertising industry. Since we merged with Maximum Effort, Ryan's creative agency, Ryan's become our Chief Creative Officer. And the first thing that we did with Ryan when he came on board was we actually did an A/B test against our own ABM prospect target list. And so what we did was we created 2 ads with Ryan. The first ad that you see up top is a great ad where Ryan's just speaking to the camera, speaking directly to our prospects. The second ad that you see below is an ad that Ryan just narrates, and it just kind of explains the value prop of working with the Mountain platform. And so again, we targeted our own ABM target audience. We also did targeting against B2B audiences for a prospecting campaign. And wouldn't you want to know what the results are? this world-class movie star. And the results are actually pretty fascinating. Using the native A/B testing functionality on the Mountain platform, uh, what was really surprising for us was that the ad that featured Ryan's voice narrating actually performed better, and in fact, it drove a 117% higher visit rate compared to the A version of the ad where Ryan was on camera directly speaking to prospects. And so already it was an interesting campaign to be able to do an A/B test for TV advertising. I mean, that's a highly unusual thing to do. Um, but the second aspect of it that was really awesome to see as a marketer was the fact that we were targeting our ABM list. So we knew that our prospects, the ones that we sort of defined from the outset that we really wanted to reach, were the ones who were reached by this campaign. And so, I guess, in other words, while a lot of our competitors were sort of reaching those prospects on the same channels that we're also on as well, it's not to say that we're not doing all of those tried and true channels as well. We were kind of creating distance from those competitors because we were reaching these prospects on television with a really compelling advertisement. Now, in terms of performance that we're seeing from campaigns, uh, it's first of all, before we even get to the metrics, the really interesting thing about the performance is the fact that it's great to be able to measure television consistently with your other performance marketing channels. We're not asking you to measure this differently. In the case of linear, you're talking about Nielsen reports and panel data or lift measurement. No, in this case, you're looking at a lot of metrics that are the same, if not incredibly similar, to the metrics that you use to kind of grade your work on other channels. And in the case of Mountain's platform, it takes it a step further. We're directly integrated into Google Analytics and very recently Adobe Analytics. So you can see this campaign performance data directly in your analytics tool of choice. And just to give you sort of deeper look into the performance of this campaign that we ran recently, first of all, it's an astounding share of traffic. So 23% of the traffic that we got to our website during this window, the flight of this campaign, was driven by our television campaign. 16.5% of website conversions during that campaign were driven by this campaign that we ran on connected television. A $6.72 cost per visit and a verified visit rate of 3.25%. You may be wondering how we're able to measure things like visit rates and conversions. Well, we have a technology that we call verified visit. It's basically cross-device tracking. We have a identity graph, a device graph of that tracks devices in 80% of the households in America. And we utilize that device graph to be able to track that journey users take from watching an ad served on television and making their way to a client's website on a mobile device or a desktop device. And we're able to reconcile the two, the devices inside the household. And so that's how we're able to track the website visit. And on the website, we have a tracking pixel that's running there. So then from there, we're able to track conversions that take place. And so the amazing thing here, holy grail for a lot of TV advertisers, is the fact that now you can reliably run an ad on television and then definitively measure the site visits and also the conversions that were directly attributed to that television campaign. Now, a really important aspect of ABM is targeting, is finding that audience. And there's a variety of ways to find your audiences on a platform like ours. First is to just simply upload those CRM email lists. So in the same way that you find yourself doing any sort of matched uh, uh, audience uploading on some other platform, it's the same here. You're just going to be uploading that audience, and then the matching commences. We'll go ahead and match all of the lists that you upload to users that can be reached with television advertising. And the great thing is, The match rates on this platform specifically, we did an exercise when we were using our own platform to do our own advertising, and we did this exercise where we took the same seed list and we uploaded it to the most common digital advertising platforms, and our platform had one of the highest match rates that we experienced. And to know that we're matching against users that can be reached on television, I mean, that's just it's just incredible. And so you can of course do CRM matching on a platform like ours, just as you do on any other platform. But also, just kind of stepping outside of ABM for a second, if you're looking to do prospecting campaigns, in that case, we have over 80,000 audience segments that can be utilized by way of our integration with the Oracle Data Cloud. So just a lot of different options for creating as large and also as targeted of an audience as possible for you. Now, retargeting is a tremendously important tactic for digital marketers, and that's back to that theme of this is digital advertising, and you should measure it and use it just as you would any other digital advertising channel. Retargeting is no different. You can do retargeting on this platform just as you would do retargeting on any other. And so once you have that pixel live on your website, you can start retargeting users who are visiting your website with advertisements on television. And so in this case, it's going to help you kind of reach really valuable users. Users, you can segment those retargeting audiences again, just like you would with any other retargeting provider. So say you have specific product pages or specific products that you want to retarget people who are viewing that, maybe people who are viewing a pricing page on your website. You could set up campaigns that are reaching exactly those users with tailored creative for them. And so in this case, you're really staying top of mind and keeping that message fresh to those users. And so how B2B marketers specifically who are doing ABM, how they can get started is first is you just need to find a platform that kind of accommodates the needs of a B2B marketer. And really that's going to be a platform that is performance focused. B2B marketers don't have the luxury that a lot of B2C marketers do that are doing heavy duty branding campaigns. Everything needs to be measured meticulously, and you need to be assured of getting a really strong return on your ad spend. And so identifying a platform like Mountain that can help you reach those goals. And again, a platform that can accommodate your needs from a user targeting standpoint. So just as we talked about, a platform that'll allow you to upload your CRM lists and also do retargeting is going to be really important. And finally, not that this is exclusive to B2B marketers, but a lot of B2B marketers are working out of Google Analytics, using that as a source of truth across all of the channels that they're using. And so a platform that's going to have a direct integration into that is going to make your life a lot easier from a measurement standpoint. And so as we're kind of concluding here, just a couple of key takeaways. First, as we talked about in the beginning, that ABM playbook, whether you're going to end up using TV or not, the thing that you should all be thinking about as marketers is the fact that that playbook really needs revitalization. Everybody's doing the same thing, and the target prospect is getting reached in the same way by everybody. So what can you do to cut through the noise? Our recommendation here today is a clear one, and it's an effective one from our own experience, and that's bringing your ABM strategy to TV. Now that TV can be treated as a performance marketing channel, it's a no-brainer. And so utilizing those different tactics to reach your ABM audience is going to create a really memorable experience for your target prospect, and it's going to differentiate you from your competitors. And so with that, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time, and thank you to Martech.